Have you ever wondered what living your true, authentic life would be like? And doing so fearlessly, undeniably, and unapologetically? Is such a way of life even possible? My answer is yes, it is. Welcome to my podcast, From Fearful to Fierce. My name is Sarah Odo Grossfatner, and I will be using this space to share simple, easy to implement tips on how to become the best version of yourself by living authentically, unapologetically, undeniably, and fearlessly. From Fearful to Fierce is based on my FFTF trilogy, which is available on Amazon, by the way. A series on the importance of knowing, accepting, and loving one's self. So, whether you are struggling with imposter syndrome, self doubt, or just looking to level up your confidence game, this podcast has got you covered. So, get ready to take on the world one fearless step at a time as this podcast unravels and tackles some of the issues that prevents us from becoming the best version of ourselves. Once again, I'm your host, Sarah Odogrosfatna. So, how do you know when you are or when you're becoming the best version of yourself? How do I know that I am becoming or even making progress? One of the ways that I've measured that I do measure if I'm becoming the best version of myself by asking myself, would I marry me? Am I the kind of person that would want to marry me? Well, I started off by picking the things that I that are not, you could say, I didn't like very much about myself, but the things that I felt I could do better. I had a pen and paper, and then I had on one side pros, the positive things, and the other side cons, the negative things, the things that I wish were different about me. And then starting with the negative, I said, okay, Sarah, once you hold on to a situation, you can sometimes find it hard to let go. So you can be a bit stubborn about letting go of a situation. And then next thing I wrote on the con side was, Sarah, you don't like to be taken for granted. You can give someone a shirt from your back, but once they begin to think that, or is their due rather than a privilege, you can become really, really so cold. If you really want to continue a relationship with that person, doesn't matter what form of relationship it is, whether even just friendship. So you try to get them to talk to come to an understanding, and they're not willing to listen to you. You can become so cold. That was the second. And the third was talk. Whenever there's a problem, Sarah, you want to resolve it there and then. Because you always believe that situations should not go overnight without being resolved, you tend to kind of like force that on people. People have different ways of dealing with situations. Sometimes they want to, and then give it some time, think about it, and then come back to talk. But because you are the way that you want to talk about it there and then. When they don't talk about it, you look at it as they're not wanting to resolve that problem, that they are not valuing your relationship or you as a person. So these were the three things that I thought about myself. On the con side, that's on the negative side. Then I came back to the positive side. I said, okay, Sarah, now that you know those three things about yourself, that you can be a bit stubborn in your approach, you sometimes want people to react to situations the way that you would like to react to them. You don't like being taken for granted. And once someone does that, you can suddenly go very cold towards that person. Once I got that done and out of the way, I now looked at the positive side. I said, Sarah, What are the positive things about yourself that if you're on the outside looking in, you might see in yourself and say, okay, yeah, that's someone that I could spend the rest of my life with. And I thought about generosity. I'm a generous person, and I'm not saying it as a boast, but I'm saying it as a fact. Becoming the best version of yourself is discovering your values, what matters to you, what the values that you hold very dear. And so one of those is generosity of heart. I'm a very generous person. In fact, a little like my father, I can be generous to a fault. However, your friendship, you are very true in your friendship. Once you give someone your friendship with all of your heart, if the person is in hell, you are willing to go to that hell with that person and you will not come out of it until you drag that person out along with you. So you're a very good friend. You're the kind of person that someone will have behind their back as a friend and know for a fact that they have a friend. Let's move away from that. You comes and I said, well, Sarah, you know the expression they say, dance as if no one is watching. So you love to dance. And when it comes to health, you're very conscious about the things that you eat. You're very conscious about the body that God has given you, and you take care of that body. You're conscious that your body is a gift. In fact, if anyone is a couch potato and wants to date you, they can just forget it because you will not you will not actually have a life. You're also a very spontaneous person, which can also sometimes work as a kind of weakness because you're a people person. You like people around you. You get vibes from people around you. You are very family oriented. In fact, if anybody wanted to be with you and was not family oriented, they should just forget it because family to you is not just your kids or your spouse. They are your cousins, your aunties, your uncles, your best friends, your family friends. And then I said to myself, Sarah, now that you've listed all of this about you, you've listed the negative parts of you, the cons, you've listed the positives. If you were on the outside looking at you, would you want to marry you? Would you marry you? And my answer was yes. Not just because I saw myself as a perfect person, but yes, because there are qualities about me, positive qualities that outweigh the things that I saw as negative people. I mean, sorry, as negative qualities or patterns. I'm not wearing tinted glasses. I know areas of my weaknesses, but at the same time, I'm someone with deep empathy and a sense of justice. I looked at myself and I see there are so many qualities about me that I like. And so, yes, I said I would very much marry myself if I were on the outside looking in. I mean, plus, I'm a fantastic mother. I like to think that. I hope my children agree with me that I'm a good mother. And above all, I'm a woman of strong faith. And you know, one thing that I've learned about faith, especially in a situation of relationship, is that faith matters a lot. That fear and respect for God. If you're blessed, actually, and I'm not saying lucky here, because luck has nothing to do with it, because faith is an intentional action. You have to want to want. And so if you're blessed to have someone like that as your spouse, then you're indeed blessed. If I were me, looking at me from outside, even for that alone, for that strong faith, I would want to marry me. Because when you're someone of faith, It's not just working for you yourself. Actually, more often than not, your faith does not work for you. That is you're not using it meant for your benefit more often than you're using it for the benefit of the people that are very dear or you consider very dear and close to you. And who are the people who are dear and close to you? If you are someone who is married, first of all, it's going to be your spouse. Because having a woman of faith or a spouse of faith, if you will, it's a little bit like knowing that you have the key to the greatest gold reserve. You know that whatever the situation, even if you have nothing in your pocket this moment, you know for sure that you're not going to be destitute. You know that you always have a covering. And so, yes, definitely, I would marry me. Not so much for all of the other reasons that are listed, like love for dancing, healthy living, being a good friend. Although all of those things are important, but the reason that I would marry me is because I'm a strong woman of faith. And when it comes to faith, having a spouse who is faith filled is the greatest asset anyone could ever wish for. Thank you for tuning in. Once again, this is From Fearful to Fierce by Sarah Udo Grosswagner. Until next time, keep striving to become the best version of yourself. Live intentionally, be unapologetic, be bold, be fearless. Before I forget, don't forget to subscribe to my podcast, like the different episodes, and press the notification button so that when I bring out new episodes, you'll be notified. Thank you very much. Until next time.